Hey tribe, welcome to my channel. So today I'm still in my kind of PJs. I don't know what this is, but I'll wear it as my pajama top during morning routines. No makeup, messy hair, just washed it, didn't even brush it, and that's what this video is about. I kind of want to come on here and talk to you in a very informal environment. What is going on with me? As YouTube people have probably noticed, I haven't been putting out many videos lately. There's a reason for that. I'm gonna also be explaining why I've chosen a path that I've chosen apart from tarot, something else that I'm doing right now, and what experiences I had with it. Okay, so I'm not gonna do a makeup tutorial. I'm not good at makeup. I don't wear a lot of makeup, but for videos, since the light might be quite intense, I do like to use liquid foundation, but again, a medium range. Okay. So I have pre-curled my lashes, by the way, guys. And since my lashes are quite thick, I don't know if you can see that. You probably won't. Quite thick, and they don't stay curled. What I do, I use a bit of, I think someone else does it out there. I'm pretty sure someone else does it. I do heat it up, but don't burn your eyes, with a hairdryer, just that bit, so it stays up curled. But we're not gonna start with that. We're gonna start with foundation. Starting with foundation. Okay, where is everything? Where is everything? So let's talk. What has been happening? You know, guys, you were my confirmation, I'm meaning clients, for the past 3 weeks, I must say. So, you know, on my website, currently, when I'm talking, I do have services such as energy healing, which my mom does, tarot readings, learning how to read intuitively, purely intuitively. I don't even care if you know tarot or not, because we're reading from your intuition. And starting my spiritual business. So far, that's what kind of services I am offering. Now, over time, what I've noticed, I've answered, I don't know how many readings I've done, you know, but what I started noticing, I needed a bit of a different tool in order to help people. How should I explain this for you? A lot of questions that I tend to get in tarot readings, I find myself, I want to get to the bottom, to the origin of why this question is being asked. A lot of times, certain questions are being asked because of some kind of trauma response, or because of fear, because of uncertainty. And I was like, I want not to only answer questions for people, but I want them to feel even more empowered, because I do my readings, if you probably noticed, a bit differently. I do start with energy checkup regardless of your questions, and give you advice on the present moment, because present moment is literally the key to your future, right? And there's a lot of things that you can change if you start acting accordingly. So I'm that type of person who likes to kick myself in the ass, but also kick other people in the ass. And I know it can be, at first, hurtful to hear something like that. But in the long run, I feel like that's what helps. I forgot what I wanted to say, but good morning. So let me get my thoughts back in order. So I started looking for, you know, how can I help people to feel even more empowered. It's not about empowerment as much as it is about being in your power. For example, someone who keeps chasing after other people, right? And what is the core issue of that? Why are we doing this? You know, let's go back to your childhood. Let's go back, if you believe in past lives, wherever you tend to go, to figure out what is the core issue of that abandonment for you. And once we deal with that, that's when you attract a partner that is equal to your energy. Otherwise, you're gonna keep attracting what you are, right? Overall, I've noticed that I started feeling meh about it all, you know, and a lot of questions were repetitive, and those questions, answering those questions, I could see, you know, I could give only as much as I can give from a tarot reading or tuning into a person's subconscious mind. But if a client doesn't do the work themselves, there is not much that I can do, right? As a tarot reader. So this path found me very naturally. I think I'm gonna backtrack first and start touching on a couple of things that I've been drawn to. So I've been always drawn to, I have no idea why, places like Peru, Bolivia, and all that side. By the way, guys, what I've learned from this guy on YouTube, a makeup artist, don't remember his name, but if you do have dark circles just here, not obviously all over this area, what you could do, and if you have wrinkles over here, if you're over 30, I mean, some people have it even earlier depending on your genes, but when you do put the concealer all the way up here, when you smile, you get those creases regardless of preparation. Some people I know, they use setting spray first to tap this area and then they put the concealer on. I've tried that, doesn't really work for me, and when I smile it's quite cakey regardless of what concealer I'm using. So since I don't have a dark circles, you know, around here, it's just here, that's where I'm putting it, and this area stays clean. So just a little trick if anyone finds it useful. But yeah, I was always drawn to, you know, those countries, and I had no idea why. So this is a bit of a backstory, you know, to everything. And I knew that it's very shamanic. It's very shamanic. There is a lot of depth, mystery there that I would love to uncover. And I remember when I was still doing mediumship, I have booked an assessment with one medium from Arthur Findlay College. She basically checks on your energy as a medium, and she tells you whatever she's getting in a channeled manner. And she gives you advice, you know, if you have any questions about mediumship or any troubles you have in connecting or questions you want answers for. She provides it. There are a lot of tutors in Arthur Findlay College, so find the tutor that sits right with you. And she started talking about, she said, I'm so bad at geography, I'm so sorry, but I want to talk about, how did she express herself? North of South America, or all that spot, right? And I'm like, okay, what are we getting at? Because I just felt very pulled there, but I never knew why. And then I didn't really dig deep into it, you know? And then she goes, oof, what an energy. And I'm like, what is going on there? And she said, one of your elders, meaning spiritual guide, if you want to call it that way, one of your elder masters are coming through. I don't know if you're aware of this. And basically the whole time she said to me, just tell me if it does make sense or it doesn't make sense. And that's what I did. So there is no information I really given her. And she said, it's the first one for me, because he speaks in sentences, and he speaks in very short or half sentences. And I knew, you know, that my guide was someone who tends to kick ass. And that's what kind of love, you know, that I accept. That's what kind of love that helps me. But I was never the person who was asking for a guidance from my guide. I was always going at it on my own and connecting to higher self. And then she said, I'm gonna talk about this story. Maybe I'm gonna post a video. then she said, I'm so sorry, I don't want to be offensive, but he calls you girl. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And then she started telling me about all these messages that this guide has given me, but they were very poetic, very straight to the point, and it would leave, you know, whatever he'd say, it would leave space for thought. So it's not that you gotta go there, he would leave space for thought. And that's what true guides do, right? They do leave you wondering in order for you to figure out the rest. And she said he's a medicine man, he's very shamanic, and I'm like, yeah, that sits right with me. And after some time, I don't remember how long passed, or this happened actually before this medium, because it was quite a close call. I went with my mom to a zoo. And I'm not the person who goes to zoos because I'm like, I don't really like that concept. But this zoo, when I came back home, it has a lot of memories for me with my childhood. And I know that not many things have changed there. Nothing is renovated, everything is still the same, and the smells and everything. I really wanted to visit places where I was as a kid. So we went there and we kept walking around, and we went next to the white, was it gray or white wolves? I don't remember. And there was a couple, and they were just sleeping, laying down, sleeping, eyes closed. And I just stood there looking at them, and I was like, wow, this is majestic to me. And I took out my phone wanting to record them, and the moment I take out my phone, the male, I believe that was a male, I don't know why I know this, but the male gets up and starts howling. And it was so graceful, and it did it for a good 2 minutes when I was standing there, and I was like, whoa, I got shivers, you know, I got shivers. That was very powerful to me. Then some time passes, and I'm about to go to sleep. No, I'm not. After shower, I decided to stay still with my thoughts. To sit with spirit, that's how it's called basically. So sitting with spirit and meditation is different. And what I like to do is just kind of sit still, and I don't request any information. I'm just still, and I observe the energies and see what comes up. And that's what I did. And this presence of a very strong presence came through, but it was very tough but loving at the same time. And I was like, okay, I don't remember what conversation I had, but I was given, I've asked for a name, that's what I remember. That's what I've asked for. The name of this spirit, because I knew this was one of the guides, and it was the main one because the energy was like, ooh, it was super strong. And I get a name which I had to put, you know, together. It wasn't very straightforward. It came in bits, in like 2 parts. R-A-F-E, Rafe. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I just kind of, you know, sit still with myself for a couple of more minutes, and I opened my laptop and I started watching some silly YouTube videos about some kind of reality show. Funny fact, I don't know why, I had subtitles clicked on YouTube, which I don't usually do. And after that, I was about to go to sleep. And in those subtitles, when I'm watching them go, I see highlights, R-A-F-E. And I kept being nagged to look up the spiritual meaning of that name. That's what I thought. That's the message that I got. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it now. So I look up a spiritual meaning of Rafe, a meaning of a name. I don't remember how I spelled it. Maybe it's still there. How did I search for it. Okay. Yeah, Rafe meaning, I think that's what I put. So it says, is a given name for a male used in many countries across the world. And the meaning is Council of the Wolf. You see in bold? And I'm like, okay. Then I remember, when I moved to this flat, there was nothing here apart from some furniture. The only thing as a detail in this flat is, I'm gonna take you up there. I don't have my pants on, so I cannot, I cannot get up, so I'm gonna have to put you up. 1 second. You see that? Let me take it. The only thing that I found was this. And I'm like, okay. And I'm not obsessed with signs. I'm not that person who's chasing after signs, or, when I see synchronicities, I'm like, oh my God, my angels are with me. No, I was never that person, to be honest. But this, it came to me very naturally without looking. It was just almost like dots being put in places, and it felt right.
Because one of your helpers from the spirit world is, he takes me to South, and my geography is really bad, but the north of South America. But he's dressed in very much, he's an elder. But the shamanic energy that comes with him is an elder, but he's also a medicine man. So are you interested in shamanic things?
Yes, very much.
So that's why then we're...
Joey's texting me, sorry, I'm being interrupted. And, oh, you booked tickets for the flights. By the way, Joey's coming over. We're gonna live for some time again like we used to live before, so I think exciting new things will come out of that. And I was like, okay, now I know, that a lot of things make sense. 3 nights ago, I'm talking to Joe on Zoom call, which is basically catching up. I did a reading for him, and I don't know what came down to me, but I just had this urge to ask him to channel Rafe. And I said, this is my old wise wolf, right? And I just want to see how you would channel him. Bear in mind, I've connected to Rafe 3 times in my life. Okay, that's why I'm not the person who connects and talks to the elders too often. And Rafi is not the guy who would take any BS. If I asked any question that is a little bit like, you figure it out on your own, he would tap out. So he'd come in, listen to what I have to say, and then he'd be like, you can do it on your own, and tap out, like literally leave. And Joey closed his eyes, and then, bear in mind, he didn't listen to the medium's reading that she did on me. This happened a year ago. I might have mentioned to him what she said, but I wasn't focused on a spirit guide, you see. And he closes his eyes and he goes, oof, this energy. And the moment he said that, I knew that was literally Rafi. But I just listened to what he said, and he said, I'm so sorry, I'm getting emotional. it's only because his energy is really, really strong. So when it comes down at you, you're like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? And he goes, so he has a little tear here because of the energy. And Joey starts laughing with his eyes closed. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And he goes, he told me, wipe your tears, boy. Boy, remember how I said he called me girl? And that's when I knew that was Rafi being channeled. And then he said he talks, bear in mind, Joey is visual. When Joey connects to an energy, he connects through vision. And he said, it never happened to me like that. I can hear sentences, but the very, like, straight to the point sentences. And I was like, yep, that's how he comes through. Literally sentences.
I'm trying to kind of settle in. He said, yes, boy. I was like, okay.
He calls me girl.
Oh,
Boy or girl. Yeah, that's how he talks.
oh, okay. He just goes, yes, boy, as if like, what do you want? Okay.
Oh my God.
He's saying she is queen of the darkness in ways that people do not understand. Her eye travels further than anyone can ever imagine because of her wisdom that comes from the owls. Her mystery is something that you see in the lake. Something so dark, something so precious, because it is still and it is cold. She brings you to a part of your soul that no one can ever uncover. Just like the lake is still, your unconsciousness is stuck. She brings that part of you out. Like springtime. Oh my God, his energy is really heavy. Brigita, sorry. I feel like crying.
I feel like he's healing you.
Yeah, well, he is kind of here. He told me to breathe. Like, sorry. He's like, boy, wipe your tears.
This is literally him.
Oh my God, he's great. Okay, hold on. He's like trying to explain to me how the seasons change and everything starts in the darkness. Everything dies and it comes back into the soil and bursts through, and it basically is showing itself in a new way, and it's growing in a way that it never used to the year before. And he's like, that's exactly what the human life is all about. We go through our cycles and we need to be aware of the times when the new energy is coming so that we can bring forth our fullest potential. He's saying, do not be silly, do not be stupid. These energies don't come about for very long. You are here to fully understand what energy is all about. Energy is all about cycles. If you're not aware of the cycles that you are going through, what do you think you are here to do? You are here to be conscious and subconscious and aware and also unaware. But that is the mystery of what this life is all about. There's no in between. You are the in between. So start believing and bringing yourself back to that 0 point of knowing that you are the anchor for the knowledge that you and only you can access for your own highest good. People who run about like headless chickens, do not understand this fact. Brigita knows. Brigita is working well with me. She knows why I am harsh. But she also knows why I am pure. This is not all fun and games, but it is also filled with abundance. And that is what I am here to guide her towards. She can have both, but she cannot have one. This is what she came here to do.
That's how he talks to me.
He literally just cut me off. He just left. I was like,
So this pre-story has a lot to do with what I'm gonna talk about next. Some time passes and Joey sends me an Instagram account of one guy who does, by the way, you've seen him on my channel, Leo. I've interviewed him. Hypnotist practitioner. And he said, I don't know why I feel like you're gonna vibe with this guy. And I'm like, okay. So I found hypnosis, really introspective hypnosis, really interesting. But I was focused on other things. I kind of left this idea that I could potentially do this or learn this on the side. And I think the right time came when I decided to connect to Leo. I messaged him. I said, hey, you know what? I really want to talk about hypnosis. And he was so nice and he agreed to have a conversation with me. And I know he's super busy, especially this type of work, introspective hypnosis. There is a lot of people out there who do need your help. So we had a talk, and then I say, hey, I kept looking at, hypnosis and what it does. And I, the most famous person who talked about that and who talked about the subconscious and the impact is Canon Dolores. And I said, I'm thinking about studying 𝒘𝒊𝒕𝒉. But the thing is, my interest is releasing these spirit attachments as well as guiding spirits home. And this is the practice where I see how powerful it is. It's not about getting out stage and saying spirit be gone, because that's not how it most of the time works. You listen to the story of a lost spirit. Doesn't matter if it was a trickster spirit, would it be a deceased, would it be some kind of entity, and with them sharing the story and healing, helping them heal and forgive if they have to forgive, or if they're seeking for revenge and that's why they're here, kind of communicating with them. That's how you release that spirit. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. And he said, so hey boo, there was a reason you came to chat to me. I'm like, and what is it? And he goes, because 𝒘𝒊𝒕𝒉, they're not dealing with that. And I'm like, oh shit. So is introspective hypnosis the place for me to be? He's like, yep, we're dealing with everything here. So the attachment, the lost spirit to a host, meaning a client, meaning you if you come for a hypnosis session, is another client of yours, because there's another soul that you're dealing with. So you approach them the same way, with love and integrity and understanding, like you would approach your own client. I'm like, this is awesome. That's where I want to be. And then I say, okay, so who did you learn with? And he said, Antonio Sanjo. And I'm like, cool. And he's like, so there's Alba Weinman, who's really great at this too, and they're friends. And he said, give me a moment, I'm gonna look up when is the next class taking place. And it was literally taking place a month later. And I was like, shit, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. This is exactly what I need to do. And funny enough, the class was being held by Antonio and Alba Weinman. So I was like, damn, this is great. This is great. So the moment I connected on that call in a class, I knew that I'm in the right place to be. And that's when the whole shamanic thing comes into play, which I wasn't aware of before. So hypnosis comes from shamanism. And my tutor, Antonio, is from Peru. And I think that's why I was so drawn to his teachings, because it was just very close to my soul. And we did practice on one another, and we did a lot of things. I love the group because people over there are super open. And it's because we are practicing on one another, we get to know one another on all levels. There are no secrets almost there, you know, because if you hold back, the session might not be as easily flowing or as graceful, because you're holding back some kind of information. And over there, you literally putting your life on a table, you know, like all cards on a table. And that practice even opened me up as a person to so many things, and I became a better version of myself, to be honest. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate this work. I've never come across a job that is so intense but also so rewarding at the end. So that's what I did, and I did practice on the people that I know and I don't know, and on students from my class as well. With them it's really nice because we do give each other feedback, like no tomorrow, very straight to the point. Your voice is too loud, your voice is too low, you know, it's just very much, very open. And you know, when I was practicing, I started noticing what impact this type of work has on a person if the person is ready to do the work. Meaning, if the person fully understands that that's something that they want to heal and fix, or understand and acknowledge, and what is the next steps that they want to take. And as in all works, there is no magic pill. The magic pill is you. And those who came with a right mindset, I'm gonna be releasing a video of thanks to Joey, because he opened up about 2 introspective hypnosis sessions I've done on him, and they were very personal. So I'm not including bits and pieces from his own sessions that are super personal, but what he was open to talking about, which was already a lot for me, I'm going to be included in that video. And I started receiving messages from people saying, I'm not doing this anymore, or I can finally be intimate again, or now I decided, since what was uncovered for me during hypnosis session, that is not for me because I'm worth this and that. And there were so many things. For example, what happened, because I did experience introspective hypnosis on me as well. What I've noticed after the session, I used to have to go to the toilet quite often. And now, I'm drinking coffee right now. Before that, I had tea, and usually this mixture of green tea and coffee afterwards would take me to the toilet like every half an hour, at least 3 times. And after the hypnosis session, I didn't have that anymore. I remember, but again, what happened was I didn't recognize that that's what happened. I didn't come to the session with my intention to fix issues with my bladder, because that's something that I didn't bring to the table. And that's what happens sometimes. You think that you are working on such and such issue, but then some other issues get fixed. It's like a web. It's a very personal and a very complicated, you know, thing to understand for conscious mind. And I went, I think 2 or 3 days after the session, I went with my friends for barbecue. And I was drinking beer and chit-chatting with girls. And 2 of my friends go, would you like to go to the loo? Because it was quite further away from the place where we stayed. And I was like, no, I'm good, thank you. Then an hour passes, they go into the loo again. And I don't notice, you see. I'm still sat there and they go, they come back. 3.5 hours pass. Then I want to go to the loo. And they say, Brigita, you used to pee so often, like at least a couple of times an hour, especially if you're having a beer. That day I was having non-alcoholic beer, but it doesn't matter for me. Any drink just goes. And I was like, oh, shit. That's something that I talked about during trance. And you know what? Like, I didn't notice a lot of things at first. It did click with me later on. I would catch myself reacting to situations differently, or I'd be doing things a little bit differently. If you're gonna be watching Joey's story, he gives a lot of examples. But now, don't forget that each person's outcome and results depend on the client, what kind of mindset they come with. So if someone comes to me saying, oh, I'm curious, I wonder if this is connected to that, curiosity is not a thing. You gotta be in a mindset where you're like, listen, this is bothering me now, I'm ready to fix it, let's go. That's what kind of mindset helps you to literally fix parts of you that you want fixed or improved. And it's only because you are the one who's doing the work. I'm almost like a guide navigating you through it, and you are the one who's doing the work. And you also have to reflect after the session, once you're in similar situation that you talked about during interview, how are you gonna react now? Your old self would reacted this way, how are you gonna react now? What has changed within you? You can easily go back, if you want to the same toxic patterns, right? Like, we all have this in us where, so say if you go through detox and one day you're like, I don't give an F anymore, I'm just gonna go on and, you know, buy everything that I want to buy that is unhealthy for me, and go back down that road. It's not to say that it's completely blocked from your side, it's still there, but how you gonna act, right? What you gonna do. But it's much easier to act accordingly once you have gone through this experience. I've seen very different outcomes when it comes to sessions. One girl, lady, I don't know how to call her, to be honest. She's quite young, but she has a very old soul, if we can put it that way. She came to me saying, when I was a teenager, let me just put this on. She said, when I was a teenager, I was suicidal. And she had access to all treatments, you know, and therapy, which she was lucky about. But the thing was, for her, she came out of it, but she said, it still feels like there was a piece of me missing. Depression is gone, but it's almost like it's right there, you know? I'm happy, don't get me wrong, but I'm not as happy as I think a normal human would be. And that's what we looked at. And we traveled back in time and space, you know, to finish any kind of pending business, as I like to say. And I forgot to ask her about it. And she reached out to me, I think a week later, saying, I don't have that anymore, but I'm just gonna observe if it's still gonna come back. And I think now for 3 or 4 months have passed. Let me see. I think 3. She doesn't have it anymore, still haven't come back. And she glows differently too. So these are the stories I love to talk about. These are the stories that keep me going, as well as Joseph Moon's story. The first session of his was intense. But intense is good because feeling is healing. So you're not there to explore happy times. You're there to explore traumatic times in order to see what hasn't been finished and what you need to take from you as a lesson from that time, or to finish anything that wasn't finished in that moment. And I'm not going to talk about his story too much because he shares it in that video that I'm going to post, so you can check it out. But a lot of good things happen during the sessions. One of my friends, when we were doing an interview, that was a surprising one for me because she comes from a financial background and she's super logical, you know. So it was surprising for me to see where she went, what kind of memory she went to. She said to me all the things that she wants me to look at during the session. Well, me, but truly it's her who's looking at it. And she talked a little bit about, you know, this and that, and something that we touched on also, because I'm asking very personal questions, was about her miscarriage. And she said, well, you know what, I made peace with it, I'm fine, you know, it isn't a big deal for me anymore like it used to be. So I think I made peace with it. And I said, okay. So we went into trance and I asked her, where you at? You know, I'm gonna smoke, sorry guys. And I wouldn't smoke normal cigarettes indoors, and it's just because it's heated tobacco, it doesn't stink. And she goes, I just feel like I'm very warm and it's dark here. And I'm like, okay, tell me more. And then she goes, it's almost like my face is getting warm. I'm like, okay. And then I realized this is not her. This isn't the memory of her own by asking more questions. She said, there is the woman in front of me and she wants to hug me. She's worried about me. And I'm like, okay, why do you think she's worried about you? She's like, I don't know now. And then we started asking other questions, and what happened basically was she came back to the memory as a spirit of a child that she has lost in my friend's womb. That's why she felt so warm. That's why it was dark over there, and that's why there was the woman who's worried about her, meaning herself. And she said she felt like it would have been a girl, and she did came through as a girl. And that's something that we were able to fully release. You see, your conscious mind might think that I forgave someone or I made peace with this. But when you go into trance, you're talking from your subconscious, which is 88% of your mind. And you dig to stories and you dig to memories that are telling you, hey, I think you're not over this just yet. Let's make peace with it. And she said this has given her such closure and such peace of mind that she did feel quite euphoric. She was emotional, of course, during trance, but once the release has taken place, she said, now I'm crying happy tears. So these are the sessions that I want to focus on now. This type of healing is the most powerful healing that I've seen, and Joey has agreed with me on this one. And it's, you know why? It's because you as a client, you doing the work. It's not that someone tells you, hey, now drink more water. And you do it just because you know you got this advice. You do it because you feel you know where to go. You feel everything much more once you entrance emotionally as well as physically. You become more sensitive to sensations, which lead you to certain memories. And it's not me putting a hand on you and saying, I'm gonna heal your stomach now, which I do include there too. When someone heals part of them, I do that over screen as well. But mostly the client is the one who's fixing themselves in some way or the other, right? So that's the path I decided to take. And this is something that I really, really enjoy doing. If you're thinking about practicing this, either you are all in or not, because this type of work, it's uncomfortable. I'm gonna put it that way. And you have to be ready for uncomfortable situations as a practitioner. But I think this type of work that I've done prior to taking introspective hypnosis has taught me so much. When I did get into it, I felt very natural being in that place, and doing the sessions. And why I'm saying all in or not is because it becomes a very strong passion and a mission to help other people in ways that I haven't personally come across before. So I'm gonna stop talking about it because I could talk about this for ages, and it's something that I wanted to touch on, kind of pre-journey to this and how everything panned out to be. And I am offering introspective hypnosis finally sessions for people who do want to. I know some people will be in queue because I told them I'm gonna get back to you, or just keep an eye on when I post that I'm doing these sessions. So I'm taking it during the month of August. Everything that you need to know about the session will be posted later on, as well as it's going to be in the description box on the services, specifically introspective hypnosis service on my website. So please read that all information that you need to know. If you have more questions, drop me an email. But I hope you have a good day. I'm excited. There's a lot that I need to do today. We're gonna shoot the collab video with Joseph Moon later on for Patreons, a topic that we're gonna be exploring. I'm still not sure of, but I think it's gonna come to us naturally. And yeah, thanks for being here. Bye for now.